ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا فإنه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وحبيبه صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. وقال الله تعالى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك وزد على سيدنا محمد في الأولين وفي الآخرين وفي كل وقت وحين وفي الملأ الأعلى إلى الدين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. My dear brothers and sisters, it's a pleasure and an honor to be with you today. We begin by praising and thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for granting us good health, for granting us iman, for granting us the ability to be here today, to seek His pleasure and seek His presence. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept the effort of every single person who came here today and made the effort to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness for any shortcomings, any mistakes that any one of us may have made from last Friday to this Friday. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us protection from any sins between today and next Friday. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for those of our families, those of our friends, those of ourselves who are going through any hardship, Allah alleviate it with this blessing of this blessed day. And we ask you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to send your choice of peace and blessings upon Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, upon his family, upon his companions, and those who seek to follow him. Now, I have the undeserving honor of speaking on the Gathering of Hearts occasion. And I thought, what is the better topic to speak upon this, rather than to speak upon the one who has gathered hearts from the day he came into this world until today, 1400 years after, and that is the topic of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We begin with the narration, a story, something that the companions were really happy about and thought about much after it occurred. And in this situation, there is a talk going on, a khutbah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, where his companions were together. A Bedouin man, a man who you could say was not from the normal society, and Bedouins, we should understand, the society of the Prophet ﷺ was very diverse. You didn't have a very homogeneous society. People were from different places, different backgrounds, different etiquettes. They were raised in different ways, and so there was a lot of diversity that we found in Medina in particular. So this Bedouin man had come, and their traditions, their etiquettes are just different, perhaps, than the normal of Medina. And so he comes to this gathering and he sees everyone gathered. And then he asks the Prophet, when is the hour? When is the hour of the Day of Judgment? Now to pause for a second, these companions had an understanding that we don't. They knew something that we didn't that helped them become who they were, which is their understanding of the reality of this dunya versus the reality of the akhirah. For all of us, our reality is this world. Our ambitions, our careers, our goals, our pursuits, that's our day-to-day reality. We wake up every morning thinking, what do I need to do to accomplish my goals in studying, in working, in whatever it may be. And then we think of the akhirah as this illusion, this life that we want to get to, this optimistic goal that we have that inshallah will make it paradise. It was the opposite for the companions. The reality for them was the akhirah, as per the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and the illusion they understood was this dunya. Allah says in the Quran, what is this life except just an illusion, a temporary phase of things that we are going through to reach the reality that we will come. So again, the question, when is the hour? When is the time when we're going to get to this reality? Now the Prophet ﷺ, this was an interruption, you can call it. Now what was his response in front of a broad audience? He goes, ماذا أعددت لها? What have you prepared for this? If you're asking me about the hour, what have you actually prepared for the hour? The companion, honest confession, goes, that shay, not much. I don't have much prepared. But I love Allah and I love His Messenger. The Prophet ﷺ tells them, أنت مع من أحمد. These words, this phrase, before I translate it, Sayyidina Anas bin Malik, he says, no words that the Prophet said, nothing that happened made us happier than these words. When the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, these words made us so happy. Since I converted, I don't remember a happier time in my life. أنت مع من أحببت. You will be with those whom you love. You will be with those whom you love. And so here we have an expression, an emotion being tied to ma'iyah, to companionship. And that too in the most important place. Saying that you will be with those whom you love in the afterlife based on your emotions for them here. Now there's an honest reality we all have to kind of grapple with here. We live in America. We were not given the same privileges that certain Muslim countries have. When you're in a Muslim country, there are certain realities that just come with living there, which is that you are often raised in a household of Muslim practice, and whether it's cultural or religiously oriented, you have respect for religious figures, such as the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. We in America have a different challenge, where we wake up and you can go on any platform of social media of your choice, and you can see 10 things slandering the Prophet on any given moment. You can find 10 things saying, you can Google articles upon articles writing why the Prophet Muhammad was so-and-so, and some sort of slander. Why he was a dictator, why he was this, why he was that, why Islam is not true. And we're surrounded by that discussion as well in university settings and elsewhere. And these are challenges that are unique, I think, to our circumstances, in the sense that when you're in a Muslim country, there is a baseline respect, an inherited respect, perhaps you can say, that is there that we don't face. And then another problem that we all face here is that our generation struggles when we are forced with emotion. And I guess I'll share a personal story very quickly. I grew up going to certain masajid, certain halaqas, and certain things of that nature. And I remember this hadith would often be spoken in khutbahs, that you will not be a complete Muslim until you love the Prophet ﷺ more than you love yourself, your family, everything in this world. You will not be complete. And I would always feel this guilt, this immense guilt in my heart. I'm going to be real with myself. I'm not there. I'm just not there. I don't have that level of, I believe in him. I know he's our Prophet, ﷺ. I know Allah is our God. I know these things, but I'm not there where I can confidently say that more than my wife and my family and everyone else that I love Prophet, ﷺ. And it was always a guilty feeling. But what we need to remember, and this is important context, the Prophet, ﷺ, did not force himself upon people. He did not shove love of himself in people's throat. It was drawn out of them. His behavior, his characteristics, his impact on society and individual hearts, him gathering the hearts together is what made people love him. We hear amazing stories. And we've been hearing such beautiful stories. For example, a story of a woman who her family went to battle. And her husband and her son were in battle. And the woman would often the women and families would stand by the mountains to see and hear news. Who's alive, who's been hurt, who has been killed. Companions come and tell her, your husband and your son have been killed. So what about the Prophet? What about the Prophet? Is he okay? Like, sister, they're telling her that her family's been slaughtered. What about the Prophet? Is he okay? Yes, he is okay. No. I need to know he's okay. I really need to know he's okay. Take me to him. She insists. She goes and she wants to see him with her own eyes to know that he's okay. She sees him and then she wants to speak to him. She says, Nabi, as long as you are okay, I can bear any grief in this world. This woman is saying that she has lost her family. She says, as long as you, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, are okay, I can bear any grief. Where did this love come from? How do you get that level of conviction in your heart that you can go through severe grief, severe loss, but still feel such felicity in knowing that there is a Prophet that you believe and stand behind? And to unpack this, my brothers and sisters, it's not going to happen in one khutbah. This is a journey that each one of us must take, and the goal, very simply today, is to make sure we are on this journey towards understanding who Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was. Who was this person that so many people, 1,400 years have passed, the most popular name in the entire world, someone who on any moment of any day praises are being sent upon him. When you pray, you send praises upon him, you send salawat upon him. At any moment in this world, around the clock, people are praising and sending salawat upon this man. We have to understand, let's look at it in two dimensions. First is, what did he stand for? What did the Prophet Muhammad stand for as a person that made people so obsessed with him and in love with him? Now, something I find very interesting, I don't know about you guys, but when I look at monarchies today, in today's climate, when you go overseas, you can go to something like Thailand, or you can look at the British monarchy, it's fascinating to see how the common person of society feels towards the monarchy. Now, you can generalize, but statistics will prove this, that many people share a sentiment of true love and devotion towards a monarchy. And interestingly, when I went to Thailand a few months ago, I saw this as well, a picture of the king everywhere, and you cannot disrespect the king. It's obviously a crime, like an actual federal crime, but beyond that, you're probably going to get mugged if you were to speak against him. And you think about it, that what has this king done for the people that they find so much inspiration? And they will highlight great things. Well, this king, they brought business to our lands and they gave us so-and-so thing, and now we have better homes. This person made sure that my kids can get an education. This person made sure so-and-so, XYZ list of things. The Prophet ﷺ brought his benefits, what he stood for. The Arab community that he came to was filled with darkness. And it's not to be downplayed. The dark realities of the world where Prophet Muhammad came to was a tribalistic landscape of war, bloodshed, corruption. All of these various terms describe the reality. If you lived in that generation, you would see things like this. You would see men having daughters and burying them alive as infants, burying daughters alive because they didn't want them. And no question, no subjection to any authority. You would see people beating their wives senseless with no objection to authority. It's a common thing to see a wife being beat. Women walking around with bruises on their faces as if it's common day. You would see things as tribal wars saying, oh, this person infringed on, we're going to go kill that family. You would see wars being held over the trivial matters of society, and there being bloodshed and no higher authority except these tribal leaders. You would see no greater authority except business, money, trade, and family power. These are things that drove that society. Now insert the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Here comes a man who now tells these slaves who are being whipped for anything they do, good or bad, they're being whipped. Here's a man who's coming and telling us to treat them kindly. It's almost a joke to them. It's a joke. I'm going to treat the slave kindly. This is my property. The slave is my property. I can do whatever I want. Don't tell me what to do with the slave. And the man is coming and saying to treat them kindly. A man is coming and telling you to treat your family well. When women, quite literally, the status in certain circles in those society was worse than you can think of a slave. When burying their daughters was seen as commonplace, he came and gave them value. These were things that he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, brought into society and eradicated over time. He came and spoke against these things. He wasn't coming to run for a political party to say, vote for me and I'm going to, take charge of all the money and run certain businesses. No, he was coming to implement good things in society. So he was a leader that people of the lower half of society, we can think of people who are oppressed, they believed in him. They saw that, wait a second, he's representing me and my rights, and he cares for me, and he brings goodness. Uphold the ties of kinship, be good to your parents, treat your younger with mercy and elders with respect. All these principles that you and I take for granted, these were groundbreaking, novel concepts after the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he's bringing all these different changes. So there's an obvious audience who believed in him and rooted for him there. But then you had people like Sayyidina Abu Bakr, radiallahu anhu. He was not abused in society. He was not someone who came from the poorer side where he felt like he was being held short by the customs. But he saw truth. And then he saw truth in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is an honest man, and he's telling us of an honest mission of Tawheed and of the beliefs of Islam. So they believed in him. So that's one aspect of it, is that these people believed him. Now you imagine you have Secret Service in America. These people, I actually have a friend whose brother is in the Secret Service, and they're actually trained. They will take a bullet. They're trained to actually take a bullet for the President of the United States, and this is in every type of guard you see across the globe. These people will give their lives because they believe in something. They believe that the upholding of this character, this person that they're defending, is good for society. As Muslims, do we truly believe that in our hearts? We have to ask ourselves this. Do I truly believe that Islam is good for everyone? Do I truly believe that if everyone believed in this message of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that they'd be better off? Or do I think this is just for me and my cohort? As Muslims, a fundamental belief, and I'm not talking about us going and imposing on everyone, but I'm saying you have to believe in your heart that Islam has goodness in it and goodness for everyone. This deen is for everyone. It's a global deen. As I'm looking at you, I see diversity in front of my eyes. Where do we think our ancestors all came from? The same place? Absolutely not. Islam reached every one of us at some point in our lives, whether that's you or your forefathers and so on and so forth. And so that same devotion, when you hear the companions jumping in front of arrows, they would jump and catch arrows so the Prophet would be protected. It was because they wanted that mission to be upheld. They understood what he stood for. But that was just one half of it. The other half was the person. He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, had an impeccable character. So many stories that I don't have time to go through. So many things that I could say that would make us realize the beauty of his character. He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was able to see when people needed him without them saying they needed him. His emotional intelligence was just through the roof. And one of the sad realities of that is it's because he went through so much suffering. He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, suffered so much. He was an orphan at a young age. He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was hungry almost his entire life. Think about that for a minute. We fast in Ramadan. Our hunger in Ramadan isn't even one day's worth of normal hunger for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Think about your hungriest moment of Ramadan fasting. That would not even reach the average hunger of what the Prophet ﷺ went through. because he would always be giving food. Food would come to his house, give it away to those who needed more than me. Food came after Safa, the poor of the masjid, feed them. Money came, someone needed a debt, give them money. There's nothing in his house. He had no food for those, nothing. That's his character. One day, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu has a beautiful story of this one. He was a companion who was not wealthy at all. Consider him among those who did not have a home. He was a part of the Ahl Safa. He lived in the masjid. The Ahl Safa were a group of companions who would stay in the masjid, in the back of the masjid, because they didn't have a home. Sometimes they were travelers, sometimes people came to visit, but generally they were homeless. And so the Prophet ﷺ would often direct any goods, any food, any excess money to go give it to them. So one day Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he's very hungry, he's starving, he hasn't eaten in a long time. He's shy, and this is the reality of oftentimes when people, and if you work in social services, you know this, that when people in need help, they can't always ask for it. When they need help, they cannot always ask for it, whether that's hunger or help in other aspects of their life, mental health, domestic health, whatever it may be, it's a struggle to go and ask for it. This is the reality of the human being. And those who are involved know that. So Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he goes up to Sayyidina Abu Bakr, he invents a question. He goes, oh, some Islamic question, hoping that he would notice that he is starving. Hoping that he'd just say, oh, do you want to come over and eat maybe? So he asked him a question about the deen, something he already knew. Sayyidina Abu Bakr answers the question and is on his merry way. You know, he didn't catch that. Then he goes to Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, he asks him, he says, oh, can you answer this question about the deen, so-and-so? He answers the question, he goes on his way. They're busy people, of course. Then from the back, Sayyidina Muhammad calls upon him. Yeah, he calls him by his nickname. Come with me, come follow me. And he realized Prophet Muhammad knew to the situation, understood immediately, he knew what he was asking for. He takes him to a companion's house. They're sitting down, there's a couple people sitting there, and he brings out milk, you know, like a yogurt milk type drink. And now the companions are all drinking one by one. Abu Hurairah is sitting there, his stomach is rocking. He is starving. And he's looking at this being passed around to everybody, and now he's thinking, is this even gonna make it to me? I've been hungry all day. Is it gonna make it? He's getting nervous, and it gets to him. Drinks from it. Prophet says, drink again, drinks from it, drink again, drinks from it. He's like, Prophet says, drinking is full, I'm good. No, are you sure you're full? I am absolutely full. Then Prophet Muhammad says, and he drinks. Because he was hungry too. He was hungry too. But what does that show? It shows an ability. He knew hunger because he felt hunger. He knows sadness because he's felt sadness. Another story of a companion who had lost a child. There's a man who would come to the masjid often with this kid running around. And this also is just a side note that we sometimes are taught that children don't belong in the masjid. You will find, and I'm sure Imam Gazer can make a nice list for us if needed, about how many examples we have of the Sahaba and the companions bringing kids into the masjid and welcoming them in there. So this kid would be in the masjid. The companions loved it, play with the kids, see him often. One day the Prophet noticed he wasn't there anymore, nor the kid nor the father. So he asked about him. So where's this man? I haven't seen him. So his son passed away. Prophet is shocked. Oh my God, his son passed away. We must go visit him. He goes to him. Finds the father in grief, naturally. He seeks him out and he finds him in grief. He lost his son. Prophet offers some words. Says, should it not make you happy? Can I not make you happy by telling you that your son will be taking you through any door of Jannah that you want? Your son will take you through it. Any door of paradise that you want, your son will take you through that door. So immediately, he's happy. His grief starts to go away. Why? Again, we go back to the same concept, realities, right? He remembered the reality. He said, wait, that's reality. My son, I'm going to see my son again. He will take me through whatever door I want to go through. So he's enlightened by this. And he asks, is this just for me? Is this just a privilege that I was given? Prophet says, no. This is for all of those who lose their children. So if you know someone who lost their children, that's a beautiful narration to share. That the children, they will see them again. And that aspect of grief, again, the Prophet ﷺ, he lost children. It's important for us to know that. He lost his children as infants, his sons. He knows the pain of losing a child. He knows that. So when he goes to someone who felt that he is not speaking with empty words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested him in so many ways because he resonates with all of these struggles. He resonates with all of this pain. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to draw us closer to him, to understand and draw wisdom from these sources. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Our brothers and sisters, I want to close with one last narration, one last story. All of these things we've been talking about today is how do we go on this journey of understanding who this blessed person of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was. And each one of us has that one journey, and it's not going to look the same for everybody, and that's very important. That with Allah and with the Prophet ﷺ, each road is different, because each one of us have different things that call to us. Each one of us have different things that resonate with us. Not everyone is moved perhaps with these stories. That does not mean you have a hard heart. We love in the way that Allah has allowed us to. And love is a very powerful emotion as well. And so what I'd like to close with is a story that everyone in this room applies to about what the Prophet ﷺ will do for us in the reality that we have been talking about. Now, the descriptions of hellfire are very uncomfortable. They are very, very uncomfortable, and we don't like to look at them because it's very painful, but the Quran does have a great mention of them. And so when you read the Quran, oftentimes you will find very descriptive details about what the hellfire is. And it's not to be mistaken that as Muslims we have a belief in yaqeen, alhamdulillah, that Allah will forgive us. Allah is merciful. He is the one who is forgiving, but we still have the risk of falling into it to atone for our sins. That's the reality. And it's not something that we should take lightly. Because even the companions would say, if I have one foot in Jannah and one outside, I'm not going to celebrate yet. So who are we to have that mindset? That we're comfortable and we're safe. In the description of hellfire, when you read them, they will truly keep you up at night. There's a story that's narrated that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he came back from Isra and Miraj, when he went to the heavens to visit, he was also shown hellfire. It was said that he could not smile. A smiley man in the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he could not smile or be joyful for many, many days after seeing what hellfire held. He was shook to the core. This is the Prophet of mercy. So he was so terrified by what he saw that he couldn't smile for some time. This is the reality of hellfire that we need to be aware of. So the day of judgment, when we talk about that day, there is fear associated with that day and hope that we will attain protection on that day. May Allah protect us all from the adab and punishment of the day of judgment. Now on that day, there's various stories and descriptions of what we will all, and I'm talking about us, you and I here, I'm not talking about somebody else, will be experiencing on that day. And one of those is that we will be going around looking for help. We will be going around looking for somebody to be a guide or an assistant. And the famous, we all know the saying that even a mother will forget her child. That's the state of affairs that we're in. So people will look for those who are pious on the day of judgment. We will find certain people, such as the prophets. We see Sayyidina Adam, alayhi salam, we will ask, can you help us? Give us help. And they will say, nafsi, nafsi. Even the prophets are in this state. You go to your best friend, nafsi, nafsi, myself, myself. I can't help you today. I got nothing for you. I am worried about myself, my checks and balances, and whether I'm going to be there or in Jannah. And that's everyone's state, a state of fear, a state of selfishness. No matter what you may have done in this world, we will all be concerned and freaking out to our core about what will happen, to the point that even the prophets are declining us, saying, nafsi, that we cannot help you today. Sayyidina Adam, Sayyidina Nuh, Sayyidina Ibrahim, they cannot help us today. Nafsi, nafsi, nafsi. Everyone is saying, myself, myself, myself. And one voice we will hear out of that voice is saying, ummati, ummati. My ummah, my ummah. Ummati, ummati. My ummah, my ummah. My ummah, Lord, save my ummah. And that is the voice of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. On that day, when he has earned his break, he has already given us everything he could have given us in this world of his life. And in those blessed 63 years, he has given us more than we can ever thank for. On that day, he will be standing and running, saying, ummati, ummati. Oh Allah, my ummah, save them. He will be pulling people out of the fire, pulling people, saving them, saying, Allah, save them. Stressing himself out, taking distress upon his own body and health to save each and every one of us. That is where our Prophet ﷺ is. He has never met us. He has not seen you and I. He doesn't know what we look like, but he knows that we testified and we believed in him when we didn't see him. And I close with this narration. The Prophet ﷺ was with his companions. And he said, how I wish to see my brothers. The companions are like, we're right here. He goes, no, you are my companions. Our brothers, and by extension, of course, sisters, are those who believed in me and did not see me. Those who believed in me but did not actually see, we did not get the blessed presence of him, but we believe in him. And we all testify, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. We live upon this and we die upon it, inshallah. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants us that. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send abundance, his choice of peace and blessings upon Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma ahdina fi man hadayt. وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك إنه لا يذل من واليت ولا يعز من عاديت تباركت ربنا وتعالى. We ask you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on this day forgiveness, that you forgive each and every one of us that are here. We ask you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on this day that if there's anyone in this Jama'ah or anyone in this Ummah who requires your assistance, Ya Allah, give them assistance with ease. We ask you, Allah, for the sicknesses of our bodies and our hearts, Ya Allah, cure them. We ask you, Allah, for the difficulties that we are facing in our personal and our deen and any aspect of our life, Ya Allah, you can make it easy, so please make it easy on this day. We ask you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to bring our hearts closer to you, to make it easier for us to love you, for your love to overwhelm our hearts and our lives. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fill our hearts with love of the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, your beloved, his family, his companions, and his teachings. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us a life upon his path and death upon his following. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on that day that will come, the reality that we face, Ya Allah, make it easy for us. Grant us his intercession and grant us admittance in paradise. أقول قولي هذا عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استقيموا يرحمكم الله. We straighten the lines, pull the gap shoulder to shoulder to make our attention for Salat al-Jumu'ah. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim Siratal ladhina an'amta 'alayhim ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفر إنه كان توابا. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to Rutgers Jumu'ah. All the other orgs, if you guys have any announcements, you can come first before I continue.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. We started a new club at Rutgers called Al-Ghazali Club, and our main objective is to host local scholars to teach classical Islamic classes on campus. We currently have 2 running classes at the moment. On Tuesday, we have sisters only class with a female scholar. This coming Tuesday class will be on College Ave Student Center, room 411 AB from 6 to 7:30. On Wednesdays, we have Hanafi Fiqh class taught by Sheikh Mateen at Libby Student Center, room 201 AB from 4 to 5 p.m. So this class, the Hanafi Fiqh class, is open to both brothers and sisters, and if you have any questions or need clarifications, the brothers can ask me, Abu Bakr, or Hasib Rahman, and the sisters can ask Nabiha Rashid, or Shari Ajmal. I think Nabiha is right now, so if you guys want to be added to these group meets, the girls can ask Nabiha, and the guys, you guys can ask me. And just like one side note, like you guys are here on this campus for 4 years, right? Try to gain as much Islamic knowledge as you can, right? Chaplain has classes on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Go to those classes. Try to go to every single class. Try to do what you can, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen after these 4 years. You can ask Qaris here, like they didn't have these same type of like events and these same type of classes that we have now. So try to soak in as much knowledge as you guys can. So.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Just some quick MSA spec announcements. First of all, Jazakallah to everyone who came to our event yesterday. It was gender interactions with Sheikh Mateen. The feedback forms for that event is in all the group chats, so make sure you guys fill it out. It gives insight to the MSA and what they can change, what you guys enjoyed, and stuff like that. Next week, we have 2 events. One is on Tuesday, which is going to be paint night. It's going to be the 18th, which is a submissions event. So, inshallah, pull up to Douglas Student Center, Trey's Hall, if you guys want to paint. Thursday, we're going to have our Taboo Topics event with Soru, which is also going to be in Douglas. It's going to be in the Douglas Student Center, in the NJC Lounge on the 20th. So, make sure you guys pull up for that as well. There's MSA merch coming soon, so I believe they sent a link where you guys can submit your designs for potential designs. I'm not sure if it's going to be a hoodie, windbreak, or whatever, but you you guys can send me your designs, inshallah. They'll take a look at them and see if they'll use them. The form is in both group chats, brothers and sisters. And then an announcement from Hope is that make sure you guys follow Hope on rumsa.hope on Instagram. They're having their charity week event coming soon, which is from the 24th to the 28th. They have a lot of events planned. Personally, it's a great event with a lot of charity opportunities. I would definitely look into it. So just make sure you guys follow them for any updates, rumsa.hope. And then lastly, brothers, make sure you guys sign up for Big Little. It's our mentorship program. We need more brothers to sign up, so please sign up. Jazakallah. That's all from me.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, Jumu'ah Mubarak. Today is our event gathering the hearts, a day that we dedicate to commemorating Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his legacy and his memory. Alhamdulillah, Brother Farooqi just gave an amazing khutbah about him, and inshallah we're going to continue this discussion in 15 minutes. So you have 15 minutes to socialize and pray your sunnahs, inshallah. We have our regular brother snacks on my right and sister snacks on my left. And then on the table on the side, we have some sunnah fruit cups, and we have date kajurs and milk, and we have chai. So help yourself with any of the refreshments, and then inshallah we'll begin in around 15 minutes. And I hope to see all you guys there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
I went to my hometown because I live right here. I don't need to be when did you come back? You didn't. So we're going to I don't know. When did your mom? Oh, we